Alright, welcome back everyone. I promised it wasn't going to be a very long time. I just need to grab some food. The fine folks from Watercolors Aquarium Gallery are back with more water and rock, and we're going to continue working on getting this fish tank set back up, or set up in the first place, I should say. So I'm going to see if I can get the webcam, or the phone downstairs, streaming back up here again, so that way we can continue this build process together. Alright? And I will still have access to the chat, I believe, so I'll be able to answer questions while I'm down there. For now, though, let's head back down. And there we go. They're already working on setting it up. Now, let me see if I can get my headset working here.
Running water? Yep, I'm probably. More people.
MTG Arena in the meantime while you guys were out.
Yeah, how more people were interested in it than.
So I have 76 followers at the moment, but we probably at maximum had like 12 viewers at a time. So I'm not a huge on Twitch. Right. I'm just getting into it and everything, but it's like anything that I'm doing might as well include in what we're doing. So I'm very close to becoming an affiliate, which means I can actually get subscribers.
Cool.
So
you're good at it.
Yeah.
You're on the stream right now.
No, I am. But you can ask questions on stream, that's fine. No? Okay. That's fine. Well, I can do this too. Well, hang on a second. Okay. Also, I do have a spot pot that we can use to soak up some extra water. So.
What?
A spot pot, because we have a puppy that can help soak up extra water.
Perfect.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're good, man.
I made it pretty far without spilling anything, so.
There you go.
Actually, not now. And we're about to hit those overflows.
Okay, well, I wanted to pull off just a handful of more eyes.
Oh, okay.
The spot pot.
Sandy.
Yes.
I see you got a puppy, but you got a big puppy.
Yeah, I mean, she's just 60 pounds. It's not that big. It's gonna be probably 100 to 110.
Right.
You got it, not a problem. We apologize to anybody who was listening on Twitch right now, but hey, sometimes we have a little bit of water spills and we gotta make sure that they get cleaned up well.
Yes, for sure. We're getting pretty close here.
Awesome. So, anybody who's watching right now, I did not make them sandwiches. We had pizza instead. But we're gonna go over here. We're gonna see just exactly how this works. So, this is the side of the tank here, and you can see that water level is real close. Kind of go up here to those little things. So it gets right up to that level, and then it pours right down here. And then once it starts to fill up and it gets up to this top part right here, it's gonna go down this tube. And down that tube, it's gonna go into, down under here, the sump. And then it'll fill up the sump, and then once we have the return pump turned on, it's gonna pump it back up and out these tubes. And we will have plenty of water circulation. Let's zoom in a little bit here.
What's in the storage room?
Next project is to get rid of what's more in the storage room.
Yeah, I don't know, there's just stuff that I think
Completely agree.
donate.
So why does the water look like lemonade? So the water looks like lemonade because of the fact that there is, when you pour the water in, all of the sediment that's in the sand, the finer sediment and everything, gets jostled up. Just like if you're walking in the water in a pond or the lake or an ocean. If you kick the sand, debris gets kicked up. That's just natural fine sand particles. And when those sand particles get kicked up, they float in the water for a while because they're very light until they eventually settle back down. Settle back down. But yeah.
I like how you use rocks.
What?
I like how you aqua.
Oh, thank you. We got a couple other rocks and stuff to mess with it too. So if you wanna give her 2 cents from it.
Probably want it with you.
Okay.
Play around with it later. And then if you don't want it, throw it in your sump or.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, I know how it is.
Yeah, definitely. And part of it's like letting it settle a little bit to see the aquascape again and everything.
And then it'll look completely different when it's lights.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which I have to get in contact with Reef Breeders about again because I'm very excited about this setup. But I think I showed you guys earlier. This piece is supposed to fit in here. This is rounded. This is not.
I heard you talking about it.
So it doesn't actually go.
Hey, I'm sure it wasn't cheap either.
It actually was. It's not super expensive at all. These are just milled plastic. They just threw these in a CNC machine somewhere at their warehouse and turned them out. So they basically just put in a slightly different file than they needed to for that. So they'll probably just toss a few extra at me. They've been good in the past when I've needed like support and everything.
Good.
So.
Good. I've not worked with them a bunch. We've gotten a few reef breeder lights from tearing down people's tanks.
Oh, nice.
So we have a few just kind of around the shop, but I have not used them.
They are fantastic. I had a lovely mixed reef 40 breeder initially. That's what my last thing was, and that was basically one 24-inch reef breeder Proton, like one of the original ones, not the version 2 models. So these are even a step up from those. So.
Do you remember the original black boxes?
Yep, that's basically what it was built off of, was the whole idea. Does that answer your question, Ben? Did you hear me? Is my headset working? I think it's working. Oh no, my phone's at low battery.
I'll go get
Plug it in.
I got it actually. Do 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 do.
This guy's prepared.
I am an Eagle Scout.
Do you need my extension?
That I do need probably. But yes, Boy Scout model, be prepared.
You were born ready, right?
Exactly. Living off of mom's spaghetti.
Okay. Is this sump placement okay before it gets any fuller?
Let me take a look.
I think we are limited a little bit on drain lines.
Yeah, I think we're fine because we can easily still get to the outlet over there.
Granted, you can, if you wanted to move it, it's a lot easier to drain the sump. So
Yeah,
up in there.
Yeah. The only other thing is getting the heaters and stuff plugged in. I have. Oh, I forgot it up here. I have a power strip. Power strip.
Gotcha. Get these Neros in and then we can fire up that return pump. Cool. Oh, I should probably watch my mouth until I return. My AI app to float up?
I have to try. And I did not try because apparently the phone that it's on is being used for streaming.
Oh, then never mind.
It's gonna be a little overkill for the length, but that's okay.
For now, right?
For now.
So you guys been on this side of town for a while?
We just moved to, I mean, I grew up on the east side of the state. I'm not gonna say too much about it because I'm not gonna dox myself here live on stream, but we moved from the east side of the state in 2008 to go to college. And then after getting my master's, got hired where I am right now. And then just kind of been here ever since. We just moved to this area, to this part of this place, in January.
Okay.
So we probably don't even have to put this behind the tank even right now. We're gonna run it out here.
Yeah, between that over there and the one here for now, at least we can be online. Yeah, water blue.
Yep.
You don't have all that water down here yet?
Good, glad. Thank you for the mic check there. But yeah, no. I'm just getting back into MTG Arena too, because I love Magic the Gathering, but haven't been able to play in person with anybody in a long time.
Right.
COVID. But it's very, very fun. A lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
You watch Alpha Investments on YouTube?
I do.
Rudy?
Yes, Ruby. Insane, but awesome at the same time. We've got this. I'm guessing I should probably. We could just plug in the heaters right now, and then I'll put in the fail-safe later. Put the ink burner that just has its own monitor that can control the so they won't even let them turn on if it's below a certain temp or above a certain temp. Basically, I put as much redundancy into the system that I could possibly manage.
Alright, yeah, for sure.
Things looking okay with the water?
I don't like how we're getting into the sump before we hit the top of the overflows.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Is it because you have those guards up?
Yeah, guards are up to bring the water level up.
Would that mean that there's an issue with the baffle on the overflow?
Sure, yeah. Because theoretically, that water level needs to climb an inch and a quarter.
Yeah,
Theoretically.
theoretically. It is only, you know, a working theory. How much left today? Looks pretty close to done today for the waiting to let it cool down. So at this point, we're kind of just we're doing some last minute kind of adjustments and fail-safe testing of things to make sure that it gets going, and then it will be pretty much done for the day.
You gonna hold off on adding water or keep going?
Let's hold off for a second here. Let me get power going.
I mean, these baffles aren't like hard pressed onto this.
Right.
Be just going
Under.
under.
Well, usually it doesn't have to be exactly hard pressed. I mean,
Because it looks like it's coming up to the level of the baffle. So what we're checking right now is the fact that we would expect the water level to go a teensy bit higher because of the way that the overflows are plumbed. But sometimes those baffles don't sit square on there, and sometimes they let a tiny bit of water through. It's still all within the tank, which is fine, but we're just trying to make sure that it's done the most efficient way as possible.
I want the water out of the top tank, not the bottom tank.
Yeah, exactly. We want the water out of the top tank, not the bottom.
Pull that out. That's upside down.
Then they just need to go the other way, basically. A small change, but an easy one, thankfully. And I wish I could get the lights on it today. But one, I don't need the lights on it today because there's nothing that's going to be in it. And then two, you don't want the lights on it because it'll mess with the cycle, right?
It'll just grow nuisance algae a lot quicker.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah, let's start pouring again. Alright. How many you got?
25 more gallons up there.
Okay.
Nope. What do you think?
Get your arm workout for the day.
Yeah. It's not my fault somebody broke off all the plugs on the backside.
Now the water level's climbing.
There you go. To a more appropriate level.
We'll have a piece of trim if you're gonna still see the water line, right?
Right?
Otherwise, what you could look for, they make like those mesh kits too if you wanted to run them to the top.
Since it's in the basement, I think I want to do glass top on there, so that way there's less evaporation. I mean, I know there's already automatically going to be some, at least a lot of the areas of the sump have coverage to reduce the amount of evaporation. And we've got a dehumidifier and everything in here, but I just want to try to mitigate it. So I'll start with glass. If the glass doesn't work, I'm going to use the people that made the lid for my 40 breeder, which was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they make custom acrylic mesh combos.
Yep.
With like even a feeder hole and everything, or a feeder lid. But
Hold on, I'll look down for about 4 weeks.
looks like we're across.
No more.
Right? Very satisfying.
Have you thought about where you're gonna run this baffle for the water level and your refugium and stuff?
So it's going to be about where it is right now, because that at about 8 inches in of water in the side is what the preferable height for the skimmer is.
Okay.
That's in there. So unless I was going to support it up on something to have a higher water level,
Right.
which I could, but I just, for now, but I can always go in and adjust them because they're just little screws,
Right.
thankfully.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about from your point of view, going from a 40 to this, like
Yep.
all the possibilities you have. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. It's a little bit of the hurry up and wait game, but it's still exciting.
Right.
You just have to be patient. That's the number one thing about the fish tank hobby, though. Anybody who's thinking about getting into the fish tank hobby, you need to have patience pretty much with everything that you do, because it's going to take at least 3 times longer than you think it's going to. For example, I ordered this tank initially. I talked to Ben and put up a set of plans with it in February of this year, and it is now April. So 2 months-ish later, at least, before it came in. And you can't be sitting there calling every single day thinking like, where is it, because sometimes these things just take time. But good things come to those who wait, and that's why we waited. And now we've got something good. Something amazing, if you will.
The construction industry has soaked up a lot of the big pieces of glass.
I believe it. Yeah, I heard they've been having a lot of issues with that. And also with the wholesaler and everything that you guys work with, Ben was saying that it wasn't something where you could just order it. It's like when they get it in, because they were so backlogged that they couldn't just, place the order.
Tanks are in high demand while everyone's at home so much.
Oh, makes sense.
People are picking up on them, and
Yeah.
how are we looking?
I don't like how that is going. We got one leak in the return. The wrench. The wrench in the car. Dripping right into the sump.
Rather than dripping at all.
Well, yeah, I'd rather have it not drip at all. I did have it just go straight up instead of using that bulkhead because you're going to hard plumb it anyways.
Okay.
So what you will want to do then?
Because I was going to use a partial soft. So I'm going to use the barb that's on there that you guys are using probably for a partial soft so that it reduces vibration, because I don't want to go direct to PVC. So it's going to go to a barb bulkhead on the bottom that I'm going to get. So it's going to go, so the initial piece will be soft. And then from the bulkhead, when it splits, it's going to be PVC.
So I'm going to use a partial soft. So I'm going to use the barb that's on there that you guys are using probably for partial soft.
Still don't like this. We got 3/4 mesh. Move these overflows all the way up.
So the initial piece will be soft. And then from the bulkhead, when it splits, it's going to be.
Is it getting in around the return?
Yeah, a
Like
little
that.
bit, but that shouldn't. it shouldn't pull that much.
Sure.
The left side of that return.
It's gonna be real tough to get you out of this humps.
No, it's sticking up, you see it.
Thanks, JB Wolf. Do they use a natural saltwater or is it mixed? So,
How do we get there?
what they do is you mix your own saltwater, and the way that it works is you start with that purified fresh water that we were talking about, and then there's salt mixes that you can purchase that have like appropriate amounts of salt as well as nutrients and everything included. And then when you mix it together, you check the salinity. As long as it's the same salinity, then you know that it's pure. And then you can use that to do water changes. So they just mixed their own salt water and then brought it along in all of the buckets and everything and containers that you saw. If you were to grab salt water from the ocean, one of the issues would be that there'd be a lot of excess bacteria that you necessarily wouldn't want. Like there is a lot of beneficial bacteria that you need in a culture in the ecosystem of your tank, but you need to make sure that you don't have too much, otherwise you're just going to get a ton of nuisance algae growth. If you were to grab salt water from the ocean, one of the issues would be. Plus, you also have the potential for bacteria and stuff that can cause infections and stuff in your livestock if you get it from the ocean. Because there's a lot of that around, but the fish in the ocean are a lot more adept to deal with it, where we try to give these pristine environments as close to it as we can for our tanks. So that they don't have to worry about disease as much. Especially over at Watercolors, they do a great job when they quarantine their fish when they come in. They make sure that every single fish is healthy before you can actually go home with it. Certainly looks like there's water coming out from the church. It looks like there might be just enough, actually. Unless it keeps dropping.
That's what I'm wondering, still I'm watching it.
So now we're kind of playing a bit of a game. So you have to figure out just exactly how much water you need, so that way it doesn't overflow your system, but it's not so little that the pump can pump too fast and dry itself out, because you don't want to run a pump dry. It's not good for it. But thankfully, the pump that we got is actually adjustable. So if we need to, we can slow the speed down, we can speed it up a little bit, or quite a bit, depending upon the level of need that we have for it. But that way we can kind of fine tune in just exactly the level of water that we want in the sump below it. It is very oddly soothing, Kadosia. One of the reasons that I love saltwater tanks so much is they are very what's the word I'm looking for? You can almost, they're like meditative in a way. Like once the lights are on and the fish are swimming and everything, and it's just, it's very calming. And it still is a very calming atmosphere in the room around it and then actually the display itself. So.
It is very obvious. Yeah, one of the reasons that I love so much are very
Plus, I try to find very soothing background music that we could have.
very calm. It's a very calming atmosphere. The room around it and then actually the play itself.
Are you adjusting the height of the?
I want to, yeah, I want to
Adjust.
Plus, I try to find very soothing better so that we can
Gotcha.
make sure we're not going to overflow there. It's climbing. Oh, yeah, because it's still draining.
And now they're checking to make sure that when the pump is turned off, that the sump is not going to flood. Because the sump is meant to hold quite a bit of water. Thankfully, it can hold reserve. But a siphon starts when you to drain it into the sump in the first place. Well, they can back siphon the other way when the pumps turn off. So you have to make sure that it's not going to be too much for your sump to hold. So then you have to have the returns a certain amount out of the water. I'll kind of show you a little bit more about that. Well, I can't. We're plugged into the wall. I will show you a little bit more about that once we can be unplugged out of the wall. But basically, right now he's adjusting the height of a couple of basically the return nozzle, I guess you can call it. And if that return nozzle is at a good height, it'll break the siphon because the water level will dip below it, so it won't be able to suck water into it as the water falls back down the pipes if the pump is off, before it reaches a level that the sump would overflow. And that's what I was talking about, kind of a guess and check, finding that balance sort of thing here.
On top of it? No, it's just, flat.
You gotta find that sweet spot where it's not gonna also blow water out of the tank when you have them back on too. But that's all part of the guess and check. Nothing like a little bit of light Friday afternoon fish tank building to relax you right before the weekend. You guys working this weekend? No? There you go.
Our weekend starts when we leave here.
There you go. hard to believe, but so on the sides of the tank, you can't really see them right now. You'll see almost like a little puck just off on the sides. This little puck right here is a magnet that's holding the power head on the other side of it. That power head on the other side of it is only about this big. And it is strong enough that it's going to provide flow to this whole tank with just two of them. And I guess, you know, the return right here, so. Start it low. Do you need the My AI app in order to control the car?
You
It's
can
just a
control
little-
them via the button.
Okay.
There's like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100%. You just keep hitting the button.
Okay.
And it'll control that way.
Got
But they'll be working singly. But if you get the app, then you can make them talk to each other.
Gotcha.
So it's not necessary, but it is a fun gimmick.
Sure. What kind of hose are you looking for?
So it's up the side.
Might have.
Half inch, 3/4 inch. But easier to control then. No buckets down.
Yeah, I had to wait because bulk resupply was out of stock on them. Because getting it over from Germany.
Factory for a while.
What?
They shut down their whole factory for a while.
Oh, I bet because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had a lot of success with reef crystals for a long time with the other tank, but I just never could get any SPS thriving. And while this isn't going to be like really a mixed tank, I do want to try a couple of small SPS, nothing crazy expensive.
Right.
But more like I'm wondering like if I can get some good salt, some better husbandry and all that good stuff. If it would be yeah, a little bit better. But that's all part of the hobby, right? But first you don't succeed, try again.
There's this one guy's tank that we serviced, and he had this, I don't remember what size, remember the guy who fell on the stairs? He was a different guy, whatever size tank he had, it was really big, but
Yeah.
he tinkered with it, trying to problem solve, getting everything, he liked growing the way he wanted it,
Mhm.
for years and years and years and years, and he finally got it, and then he got bored.
Hmm.
He solved everything he had to solve, and then that was the fun part.
The fun part was the problems.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah, troubleshooting the problems.
Gotcha.
I think that was the same guy.
Yep. Yeah, it was a dominant SPS tank. He was having to dose nitrate and phosphate with it being overstocked because they were sucking up so much that it was running too clean.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you have enough corals and you've got nutrient export right there.
Yep.
And too little for SPS is another thing too.
Right, because that's, yeah, you want nitrates at around 10, phosphates at like 0.02.
Yeah.
When you lower them, they'll start out.
Yep.
Do you want your future baffle up to fill that chamber, or do you want to mess with that later?
I'll mess with that later, honestly. Just because in order to get that baffle up, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have to raise the baffle on the main skimmer chamber as well.
Oh.
And which is going to cause the main skimmer chamber water level to go up, which means that it'll be out of the most effective range of the skimmer.
Gotcha.
Because realistically, I'm not planning to hugely use it for the refugium chamber. It's just that this sump was on sale for literally the same price as the one that didn't have the refugium. So I was like, why not? It's a tiny bit bigger, give me a little more water volume control, overall volume of the tank, so might as well. So I don't know if I'll ever truly do a refugium in there or not, and if I do, then I can worry about it then. Raising the skimmer and stuff, so.
Starting to clear up a little bit.
Yeah, it is. And we don't even have any filtration other than just water movement. Because it gets caught, it gets caught in the rocks and everything, and then as it moves, the particles bump into each other and fall to the bottom and everything. But...
There's some more stars coming out too.
Oh, some areas already. There you go. Which is crazy because they were probably in the sand and not in the in the rocker, because rocker was rather dry.
Well, we don't even have any filtration water.
Now I just have to get the heaters all set up and everything, so that way it'll be warm enough to add the Dr. Tim's. Should be good.
I think Dr. Tim's line is about 75.
About 75 of the water?
Yeah, it should stay on that. Alright, you want to start handing me these cores?
Yeah.
Interesting, this actually says keep refrigerated for longest shelf life, but do not freeze. It does not say anything about water temperature on here, but I can look it up more. I imagine it can't be too concerned. Maybe it's just the speed at which the bacteria will
That could be.
proliferate.
The metabolism, I'm sure, is a lot more efficient the warmer it is.
Yeah. What sounds like it's running dry?
The shirt pump. But we're still not full up here. Oh, which one was the skimmer? Skimmer on?
Oh, I wasn't even gonna have the skimmer on.
Right. Yeah, I want, yeah.
Oh, you're trying it because you wanted to see the water volume difference for when it. I gotcha.
Which is why it probably ran dry for a second. Then I plugged it here, I just had it hanging all the cords.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't have the heaters calibrated or anything yet.
Well, they're plugged in right now.
Okay. I'll have to see. I read the instruction manual and how exactly to do them, unless you know how to do the cobalts.
I haven't really had time to play with those as much. I like the profile of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
then it's the other way, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
So since the skimmer caused the return pump to run dry, do I need to
You're gonna want to add water.
add a little bit of water? Okay.
You can go use this bucket out. Barely fits, counts as fitting, right?
Exactly.
We could leave it over to here. Do you want, let's leave you some salt water?
I mean, or if you want to test it right now and just see where what level needs to be at with it. But I also don't want to keep you guys too long, because I know you can start when you're done with me.
I mean, yeah, you want the refracting meter, you know, where this one right there?
Oh, wait.
Backup holders?
Yeah, yep.
Want to bring the water with there, or the tool bag, or vice versa?
Yes, what are we leaving here, Benny?
Right, huh?
What are we leaving here? The, live rock and.
Yep. Yeah, we'll probably leave with 5 gallons of water.
Okay.
Just in case. I mean, and then what you can do, just drop it off if you get all set up or whatever else you shop.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Or if we're delivering your fish, we can pick it up. I don't know how that's working yet.
Um,
I didn't ask.
I was probably planning to pick them. I don't know. I dropped them off to you guys. I don't know. Do you guys have delivery fees for fish? I'm guessing.
I don't know. That's a good question. But a lot of times, I mean, if one of the service guys is heading this way, it's probably not looking around long.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, you're still probably 2 weeks out.
I'm guessing, even with Dr. Tim's, I just wasn't going to rush it. You know,
Right, yep.
I waited this long, and you guys got them safe and sound. So. So just to confirm, when I do go to mess with the skimmer and everything, because it's been a little bit since I've had to tune this in myself, turn the skimmer on, add water to the top, and then add water slowly and see if it.
And then watch the return chamber.
Okay.
So, even then, because it's a brand new skimmer, I wouldn't put the collection cup on it for like even 2 to 3 weeks afterwards. So let the bacterial film colonize on the inside of the skimmer. Otherwise, you're just going to be emptying that cup constantly. It's just going to be nothing but clear ball.
Sure. And there's nothing in there creating anything other than that right now. Is
Right.
it?
Yeah, the only waste that's creating right now is a little bit of microorganisms on the live rock.
Mhm.
That's not enough for a skimmer to pick anything up. Even then, I mean, usually I won't start a skimmer until like a week after fish are in, just because the system's too clean for the one to first pick up.
Yeah.
Some people like, oh no, start from day one. But the only thing really you have to worry about is you don't have a tank going in there would be the oxygen levels, because the skimmer's like a giant bubbler too. So if your oxygen levels drop, but
Yeah.
with this big enough of a system, I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, that and on top of it, at least we got the drainage already, you know, flowing over and everything in some. But
Yeah.
there's 3 different baffles for it to cost extra in the summer that has to go through. So I'm not planning on putting an Achilles in there, but.
I didn't think we could get anyone because they came out of Hawaii.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I just always heard that those are one of the hardest.
Yeah,
So it's
they
like.
need a lot of oxygen. So,
023?
1023. Yep. So 1023
Okay.
right now. What you usually like to run it at, I'm always a 1025, 1026.
1025, 1026
Yeah.
usually.
So, I mean, as the evaporates 2 or 3 days, throw a little more salt in right there.
There you go. Okay.
Sweet, and that's saltwater. Let's go ahead and throw that in your back room, just get it off the carpet.
Yeah.
Same with Rock. You wanna grab this necklace? Or.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a link for this.
Oh yeah.
I wanna find it.
What's the YouTube channel?
So you'll be able to find a YouTube channel through the Twitch channel a little bit easier, but it's twitch.tv/aetherplasm. So AETHERPLASM.
You can just start this over.
All right, that's fine. So go to Twitch first.
I guess this is running on that.
Oh, there you go. That's not a bad plan.
Alright, so
Twitch.tv/
AETHERPLASM. Yeah.
ARTHER.
I got it. I'll give it to him.
I'm slow.
You're fine. It's not a problem whatsoever. Again, anybody who's been watching the stream right now, the gentlemen from Watercolors Aquarium Gallery have done an amazing job. The tank is set up at this point. It is just going to cycle for a while. We're going to probably be able to close the doors and everything. You know, just look nice here. No lights on it yet. That is to come. We have to make sure that we get the lighting thing sorted with reef breeders. We have the lights here, but then again, like we mentioned, we don't want to put any lights on it yet because we'll just grow a bunch of algae that we don't need, which wouldn't look very nice. So
you definitely have to update them, but you gotta update us too.
True. Yes, I will be updating. I'm gonna have I have a Twitter page as well that you'll find a link from. Like, so if you go to the disc or the Twitch page, and you go to my About section, there's a link to the YouTube page, the Twitch page, the Twitter page, so that way I'm going to be posting updates along the way with all of this stuff.
And anytime you stop in for supplies or fish or whatever,
Yeah.
show us a picture.
Will do.
Right on.
Definitely.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
It was a fun one.
You got it. Quick, efficient, professional. Love it. They do have a website, and they have podcasts, and they have a YouTube channel. So check out Watercolors Aquarium Gallery. Google them, and you will find out all about them. They don't just sell fish; they install tanks too.
Service them as well.
And service them as well. So if you got one that you need someone else who's professional to take care of, that knows exactly what they're doing, then they will be out to do the servicing. All right. Looks amazing, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And don't worry about the boxes and stuff. I'll take care of
There's
those.
some few little pieces in there still.
Yeah.
What's in there, but
Look at all the like
fittings
instructions and stuff and make sure we got that. Okay.
right on.
Other than that, yeah, I'm sure you might want to rearrange the sand a little bit. I see we got
Yeah,
one
it
spot
does
here.
need a
From
little
pouring
rearranging
in,
after
yeah.
pour, yeah.
I still have my aquascaping little
Soil spade.
spade for my tank to get in there and just
That's fun. So did you sell that 43 then, or you got it in storage somewhere?
I still got it in the so I gotta clean it a little bit because it's got lots of coralline on the back and everything and a lot on the sides because I couldn't get to the sides very easy in the last setup. So pretty much the front was the only thing that was clean. So I gotta clean that with like some vinegar and stuff, and then I was gonna sell the 40 breeder. I sold the light from it already, and then I have a 55-gallon that was planted that I have to finish cleaning the sediment out of the bottom of, and then I'm gonna sell that one. It has a custom stand that came with it that I bought it from some guy back when I was starting. So just kind of passing it along to other people within the hobby. So
Cool. I hope you have a great weekend.
thanks, you too.
Need anything, give a shout.
Will do.
Yeah, and then maybe give a call or give Ben and I don't know, fish or whatever else. We'll figure it out.
I'm sure we will. They're hopefully not taking up too much space for you guys. So, alrighty. Awesome, man.
Have fun.
Yes.
Sounds good. I'll see you gentlemen out.
Awesome.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
And I will be back upstairs shortly. And that's just about all she wrote, folks. So this commemorates the second stream for the fish tank, which we have not named yet, which we probably will eventually at some point here. But you got to see a little bit of how it all works. It goes from nothing to all of a sudden a lot of things really, really quickly. But you got some knowledgeable people, you got a lot of tools and the right supplies, and it all gets set up. So make sure that you follow. The Twitter link is working now. So that way you'll be able to go back and check it out there. Updates on there. I'm going to have updated streams in the future as I do more with it. And then, of course, all the videos are going to be uploaded to YouTube as well, where I'll make a playlist specifically for the tank. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I don't know if I will be back streaming again later or not. Maybe I'll play some more MTG Arena. Or maybe I'll just take the rest of the day off and relax a little bit, because goodness knows this is my only day off this week. So, with that being said, I believe it's just about time for me to go and pick up Puppy Plasm from the vet and take her home and make sure that she has a nice, relaxing evening. Hope all of you have a nice, relaxing evening yourselves. What was that, Cameron? Oh, once the fish are in. Yes, once the fish are in, it will be amazing. Make sure, if you're interested in seeing how this progresses, you hit that follow button down in the corner. You will get us closer to our 100 follower goal. Ooh, that's true. We also could possibly live stream frag swaps when we go, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later. But basically the concept is that's where we go to find coral, because they has to come from somewhere. We don't just go scuba diving and pick it up ourselves. There are hobbyists who grow it out, and then we meet at like conventions and everything when socially distancing appropriate and everything. But you could see firsthand what we go through when we decide these processes. But yes, and all of the beautiful what? coral and all the beautiful coral. Sorry, Mrs. Plasma's telling me things to make sure that I don't forget to say. However, for now, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you have a safe and wonderful weekend. Bye.